The challenge begins. Our champion will fall. Deep space. Solar Stone. Unexpected.
Example. So you got to do, you know what, I'll just do a real quick map as well. I'll do a little bit of a map to show you kind of how this looks. Sure. I'm not going to do the full map. Okay, so that was just a couple examples of my Affliction a Golem Elementalist. The concept behind it is to use this ring that uses the Affliction thing that summon Stone Golems. That does 50% of your minions' life as fizz damage when they die, and they die at 20%, and it puts a dot that gets perpetually stronger. And I'm double dipping on Fizz's Extra Fire with Hatred and Awakened added fire damage, so I'm double dipping. I'm kind of going into both fire and cold damage with both of those. I'm using a Triad Grip to convert them to those things. It's a little lopsided on this part because of the gems I wanted to use, just as long as you don't put lightning. The main thing though is using Eye of Malice is kind of like the inspiration of why I wanted to go why I thought it was fine to go both. Because you can apply cold exposure and fire exposure, and then it increases their thing, and you use a 4 curse setup with Anathema. You go Punishment, Frostbite, Elemental Weakness, Flammability, and you have those 4 curses. You use Replica Siegebreakers is nice, a little bit of extra damage on there because you're scaling. And if you look at my Stone Golems, they have 504,000 life, so every time they explode for 250,000. Fizz damage base line, and then I'm using a power and this bow, and the bow has the enchant for an extra golem, awaken added fire, minion life, elemental penetration support because it's using both fire and cold, and then awakened elemental focus. It just felt like the best. You could maybe swap out this for consecrated effect. That might work nicely as well. And then this is more just a proof of concept because I threw it together last night just to see if it even would do damage. It does do damage. Damage isn't really its problem. It's just kind of awkward. There's a delay in the damage, as you saw when mapping. And also, you are almost immortal except for one-shots when you have Affliction on like 2 or more minions, because you regenerate life per second equal to 20% of total affliction damage per second on afflicted minions, which is insane recovery when it's up. But if you accidentally, like if I hit all of them, I got 11 right now. But then they explode, and then for the next 4 seconds I don't have that regeneration, and I'm not really defensive. I went CI because stacking life just seemed not very good, because Triad Grip and Eye of Malice and these rings, none of them had life. And then the belt doesn't have life, so you really don't have a good way to get life. So I went CI and then just made a fat ES base, but you don't have a very high max hit, so things will kind of obliterate you when you don't have that affliction healing going on. Basically, it's stacking a whole ton of life with cluster jewels, using 3 primordial mites to get the anima stone. A nice little trick though is using this quiver with Crusader, since you really don't care about anything other than like getting a resist. It may be nice to have another resist instead of that accuracy roll, but then just have ES energy shield craft, but 60% chance to avoid shocked, along with the boot enchant with Storm Shroud. Now I don't know if this is an optimal tree. It's probably not. It's just something I kind of threw together, and then using the Forbidden Flame. Sorry if I'm kind of rambling. I just wanted to show it off. I'll link the POB in the comments. There's probably a way better way to do this. I wanted to use the Eye of Malice combined with Hatred and Awaken added fire damage. You could theoretically go a poison and just go Necromancer with Unholy Might, and then that would free up your glove slot. There's also, for going golems, instead of going golems, you could go only the Perfect Dark Marionettes, which I am actually using. That's another thing I wanted to mention. I'm using those in like a support setup with Feeding Frenzy, Awaken Unbound Ailments, and Elemental Proliferation support. Basically, the concept behind that is when they explode, they scorch, and then they also apply. They can apply tiny little ignites, which with Raise and Pillage, which increases the damage of the explosions. Maybe you could set up better gems there, but there is a thing where maybe you go PF and you go just Ray Specters and you use the Wraithlord helmet as well. I think it's just a fun concept. The delay in damage is kind of rough, and then you probably want to somehow build your character tankier so that you don't get instantly one-shot when you're affliction buff. So thanks for watching. Sorry for rambling.